Hey, hey, Blue Table fans! A little spit came out. That was a spit wave of happiness. Hey, how's it going, guys? Go back to 2008 and watch some of those videos and you'll be like, whoa, Sean was looking a lot better back then. And that would have been in my late 30s. Coming up on 49, guys. The big 49. So, and I feel better. I would not go back. You know, recently I found on Dropbox, I found like this cache of old family pictures. And it really kind of got me right in the feels. And I was like, oh, man, those were the days. And they were the days. But these are also the days. And I remember, I was thinking, you know what, the guy in that picture is just like one giant stress ball inside. And he's smiling for the camera. And in fact, when that little red dot comes on, I just sort of forget everything. By the way, I'm having something's under the tripod leg here. And it's bugging me. You OCD people you're going to be bothered by the angle of the, it's just perspective. They're not crooked. So anyway, all right, here I am. So first off, the news from Utah. I live in Salt Lake now. Love it. Wanted to be here. I do want to be here. I think I'm going to be here at least 3 more years. I don't know. I don't know what's going to be next. I'm not attached to any particular outcome. But if I had to say, I'd say, wow, I will not be tired of this place for at least 3 more years. And that's saying something, because I spend time going downtown and just I call it urban exploring. So you pick a block, you pick a street, you pick an area, and go out on foot and look into every single place. Have I talked about this before? I don't know. So anyway, urban exploring, big hobby of mine, absolutely love it. City life very much agrees with me. When I first moved here though, I was like, oh, there's like somebody from out of town who doesn't know where they're gonna turn, so they're going like 15 miles an hour. You know, all those little things with like lots of people in close proximity. And I thought to myself, you know what? The problem is me. I'm the one with the terrible attitude. And nowadays, that's where I always start. I'm like, oh, well, Sean, maybe it's just your bad attitude. How can I improve here to improve somewhere else? And I think I told you the hammer and chisel analogy, that my whole life I was chiseling away at people and situations in my company and trying to change everything with this hammer and chisel and really going at it pretty hard. And then I realized everything just sort of snapped back into shape. People did whatever they were going to do. And then I looked at myself and thought, oh, this is for me. So when I started in on myself, chiseling here, that's when everything's, my circumstances changed. And you know what? That can be scary. If you change yourself, the world around you is going to change. At very minimum, your perspective of the world around you is going to change. And even that can be a huge difference. And so, but it can be a little scary when all of a sudden the people you used to know and the job you had or whatever it is starts sort of falling off. It's like, whoa, what's going on? So anyway, not to get involved in that. Just telling you, it's really good. And I want to talk about 40K. So I'm like, all right, it's time, Sean. I'm working on a Nurgle army right now. In fact, I'm going to be finishing assembling it tonight. So I got out my 40K rulebook, 8th edition. This is probably the biggest leap in terms of rules changes that there's been in a while. And of course I know a lot of people in the tournament circuit, and I've got nothing but really good feedback about it. I mean, a lot of good things have changed. It's funny, I'm reading through this rule book, right? And normally, when they used to do it, the rules, they do a little bit of fluff in the beginning. Then the rules took up maybe a quarter to a third. It was like 100 pages. Well, let's say 50 pages. So 25% of it was the rules, and then they did the fluff in the back. And now it's like I couldn't find what this game was about. I'm like, oh, did I get the? Because sometimes they do a separate book just for the fluff, you know, the background and pictures and stuff, and you know, and obviously this has got it in spades. I mean, this is very. I mean, 40K is by far and away the richest miniatures battles universe that I can think of. Just amazing stuff. Look at that, Necrons. So, but it's kind of a catalog for the game itself. You know, so it wasn't until way back in the back that now you get to the rules. Page 180 out of 220. And the rules are only like, I think, 8 pages long, something like that. And then I was like, well, yeah, but how do you make an army list? And like I don't even know what army books are out. And so, by the way, this is part I'm going to be making a series on getting back into Warhammer 40K for someone that maybe is in my same position. Like they've been out of it for a year or two, and it's like, well, what the heck's going on? So hopefully I can give you some guidance here. So things I noticed reading it word for word is, so finally you get to the back that talks about playing the game, because I want to know, like, well, how do you make an army list anymore? You used to get the book and it would say, you know, you needed an HQ and 2 troops and here's your options, and that was basically it. And then it gave you the points, and that's what you bought. You just bought a rule book and you bought your army book. And I'm like, well, I bought an army book. The first one that came out was Death Guard, so I picked that up. I'm like, where's the points? Where do I even find those? So fortunately, Rich Kilton, by the way, a hero of the Imperium, by the way, he sort of explained it to me in basic terms. And by the way, we're doing a battle report. He won't come up to Salt Lake. It's about 45 minutes away, and you know, Rich has his life, and he's the mountain must come to Muhammad. So anyway. Let me tell you what I found out in case you're getting into it. So they hold on, I'm trying to find the thing. Hold on, it's coming. 220, I think it was. 240? Yeah, so finally I get to the back and it talks about open play, narrative play, matched play. And I'm like, oh, okay, well okay, it's matched play. That's the thing that we all grew up with, where you have points and you make an army list and you come to the table like, you know, it's like, hey, let's play 1,500 points of whatever. So that's matched play. And, you know, I really had to look through the whole book to finally find, like, this bits of information I actually... In fact, I kind of want to get another rule book and just cut out these pages and just have those pages. Seriously, they could have got this in 30 pages. The parts that you needed. So choose armies, right? You know, I should make this a separate video. But down here, it talks about the detachments that you can have. Because it used to be, you only had one, what they now call detachment, where the force organization chart. But it's not like that anymore. So you can have, for 1,000 to 2,000 points, that's probably where you're mostly going to be, especially for tournaments. I wonder if they're played at 1850 still. By the way, I would love to get some emails, actually. I've turned off the comments. I do not want to spend mental energy on that. They either go off the rails or they're kind of what I've heard before. It's not adding that much. And I don't got a kowtow, is that how you say it, to YouTube for, you know, viewerships. Like, I don't care. You know, we're going to talk about that. So anyway, wow, I'm coming up on 10 minutes. Yeah, this may be a half hour, guys. So you can have up to 3 detachments. One thing I like about 8th edition is when you're rolling off to set up for your mission, one of the people gets to pick the deployment type before you would roll, and you would get lame ones. I was just like, I hated. So like, here's your deployment types. Now this one's really interesting. This is called Frontline Assault, where the middle part of the deployment is closer and these side pieces are farther apart. This one here, this is the standard one that kind of my go-to. I really don't like this. I think this is the Italian flag here. I don't like this one, the hammer and anvil, I think it's called. Yeah, that's terrible. But my favorite one is this right here, the old cleanse mission checkerboard. I mean, believe me, that works out really great. So and if you play a smaller battle, they say play on a 4x4 table. And then the mid-range is 6x4, which is kind of tournament standard, and then an 8x4, which I have. Now you may remember the old studio had all the terrain, and I had flats, like these 2-inch covers I would put up, and you'd play on top of that. And they were textured. They were rough. It was like playing on like 20 grit sandpaper, you know. And if somebody leaned on it, it would kind of indent, which is fine. But the dice, you know, you'd kind of be scraping your dice on it. And so now I've given in. I'm getting a bunch of those mouse pad things. And by the way, feel free to be my friend on Facebook. The name is Shawn Gately, S-H-A-W-N. So anyway, then you got your missions. And then back here you have your detachments. Finally they tell you how to set up your army. Now what's funny is these detachments are so loose now. Look at them. Those are 3. And then there's like 8, like 10 more here. And I mean, you could have your 3 detachments be 3, what is called spearhead, so you'd have HQ and 3 heavy support. You can even take up to 6 heavy support in that. 3 is only the minimum. So it's like awesome. So that Wraith Lord army that I wanted to make all those years, oh, I could do that now. Just for kicks, just have it. Totally legal. So they really loosened it up, and I really like that. So I think I got it down now. I have the indices, and that's where you get your points. And then you get an army book that just tells you all the stats, but no points. And then that's how they're going to adjust the points apparently every year, which I think is tremendous, much needed change to the system. The only thing they can do better now would be to do it online, to have a points thing online where you can just go on, and they can just change it like every month, which would be, oh my gosh, fantastic. They could just be constantly making the game like smoother and smoother and smoother and smoother. Just tremendous. And I hope they don't bloat it, you know. So there's that. Okay, so let's go to the next thing. That's where I spent a lot of time talking about 40K. I'm gonna do more on that. Let's see. We're gonna get to personal stuff. Tell you a little bit about my personal life. I don't know. I've become like more private nowadays, and wow, I'm kind of veering off to the side. I don't know why that is. Well, the fact is, I don't have to do a lot of videos, and like everything's kind of the company's running it like this great passive mode, and my focus now is just doing a good job. So yeah, so let's talk about that. The scoreboard. Right now, I have a public web page for all the projects, and since January of this year, we're only a couple months in, I've changed it. I've changed how I'm doing. So at the top, how I'm doing it. At the top, there's the scheduling, where it gives periods of time in groups of 10 days. So March 1 through 10 to 20th to 30th. And your project is scheduled in one of those slots. And that way, if it seems like it's getting a little too full, I know that, you know, the schedule's going to get pushed out. People have a good idea of when their stuff is going to be done. And the turnaround is great now. It makes me so happy inside. It's amazing. We're working on 43 projects. I want it to be about 30 projects. Historically, we've been working on 100 to 200 projects at a time. And it creates issues because you have to hire a person part-time just to keep track of everything, just to answer all the questions. Well, how's it going? Oh, I want to add that. My captains have plasma pistols now. So all those details sort of accumulate out past where it's reasonable for one person to keep track of it all. So anyway, I've got 43 projects. 26 of them are assigned, and the majority of those are being worked on somehow. So these projects, they're being advanced. And I think like 8 of them, I'm just like, there's nothing more I could do. I'm waiting for models to come in, or a back order, or the client to send them. So I can't make it go faster. And I've started to get to the point where when you send that deposit, bam, within hours, everything's ordered. An artist is assigned, like briefed on, this is coming for you, this is what it's going to be like, this is when you're going to get it done. And everything's lined up. And in fact, it's the clients then that lag. Like they have to send specifications. They have to send the actual models, or like if they are missing a model, they have to find it. Or, I mean, of course, we'll do that for you. And because we still do A to Z. Like you can send me an army list, and I will turn that army list into a physical reality for you. And been around a while, so obviously must be doing something right. All right, so scoreboard, wanted to talk about that. I'm incredibly, like I have this huge amount of piece. And the piece starts from inside and then of course reflects to the outside world. Not the other way around. Things don't calm down around you. And I don't mean this to come across as preachy. I'm just telling you what I have going on, what's interesting me. Ergo, the Ramble. So I really, like, for a long time, it always seemed like, if it's not one thing, it's another. Like, the same problems kept cropping up, just wearing different faces, you know. And not faces of people, but situations. And so, eventually I was like, well, what's going on? And it was actually my ex-wife that really brought me around to thinking about it in terms of, you know, my own, like what I had going on. It's like, well, Sean, it's your terrible attitude. Like, oh, maybe you're right. That's good. That's really good. I've been thinking recently, it's like, because I've dated a lot. And a surprising amount. And it's got me to thinking. It's like, you know, a guy might say, well, am I supposed to read your mind? Yes, you are. You're supposed to read her mind. Here's how you do it. You go back in time and you pay attention to what she was saying. And I think that gets down to just good foundations of a relationship, to communicate well, but also to listen well. And I got to tell you guys, I'm a pretty terrible listener, and it's something I've been really working on that. Anybody that's been with me for a while knows, in any capacity, knows that I tend to talk a lot, and I don't remember things well, and I'm not a great listener. So definitely something I've been working on, paying attention to cues in a male-female relationship. So yeah, my objective is, like, I think to myself, yeah, I'm supposed to have telepathy. I'm supposed to listen and understand. So I've got other exciting things going on in my life. My life is non-standard. I'm off the rails. I'm doing things in unusual ways, and it's working out. It's working out really well. So, all right, let's continue. Marvel. Oh, Marvel Cinematic Universe. Yeah, I love it. Like, how many comic book movies have they come out in the Infinity War arc, or since Iron Man, basically 10 years ago? I think like 15 or something like that. I mean, it's good. It seems like there's always like a new comic book movie coming out. And it's like Marvel's just knocking it out of the park. And I just love this thing where it's the same actors over a long period of time. But of course, then you have TV sitcom syndrome, where it's like, you just ate up 10 years of this person's life. Like, the prime of their life went to this project. And I see a lot of them, like the guy that's playing Captain America. It's like, it's pretty obvious he's got other projects he's interested in, you know. So, anyway, and I hope I don't come across as too much of a douchebag with the scarves, but I like them, and it's cold in Utah. So no apologies there. So Marvel's pretty cool. I'm going to keep going to all their things. It disconcerts me a little bit that Disney is like into everything now. They're becoming very monolithic. I'm not a great fan of monolithic structures, but on the other hand, if anything's going on in our society right now, if there is such a thing, it's fragmentation. Like my kids, they have no TV shows they're all watching. They're all just like the things that they're quoting is like, well, where's that from? Nobody, even in our little group, we don't have like enough common experiences, I don't think. So it's interesting. Went to see Annihilation, which is a sci-fi horror drama. I mean, it's really mixed between those three things, and I want to go see it again. Just need a sci-fi buff to go. I want to see it with somebody who hasn't seen it yet. And time's a ticking. I only think it'll be in theaters another week, but that show is really cool. Highly recommend it. And like go in and pay attention to what's going on. I mean, there's a lot to it. So, all right. Anyway, I'm making armies for a little game called Beyond the Gates of Antares. Antares. I don't know how you're supposed to say it. And this is like I think I already talked about this. This is like Infinity and 40K 5th edition had a baby, and it's got a great Wargamers feel. I think it's by Rick Priestley, yeah. And the models are great, and yeah, so I've got that cooking. You guys are gonna see that. By the way, I'm getting too close to a thing where I'm gonna have a dedicated space for doing battle reports. I'm keeping a lid on it for now, but it's going well. Sean is happy. Okay, next thing, Starfinder. Oh, Starfinder. We finished the first, I think it's called Absalom Station, for the first Starfinder adventure path that takes you from level 1 to level 3. And we're level 3. We're walking down the station corridors like, make way, we're level 3. Level 3's coming through. And we had to work for level 2. It was 6 sessions to get from level 1 to get that 1,300 experience points. It was brutal. Love it. I've really used this book, really got into it, reading it all the time, looking at all the equipment. I mean, it's tremendous. I've never put so much effort into being a player in a game. And don't hate the player, hate the game. All right. Now, so I made these spreadsheets for my characters. I'm pretty excited. Here's my Sheeran Mystic / Science Officer. His name is Click Clack, and he secretes or sprays pheromones at inopportune moments. Oh, we are friends now? I spray you with friendship pheromones. So, and then there's Alora Ramera, and Ace Pilot. So pretty excited about her, and yeah, so I'm really stoked. I spent a lot of time working on them, and I can't wait to play. Our game was canceled though on account of dog injury. Hey, dogs are important, man. Those guys are family. I hope it's not too, like, it's dark. I have no lights in here, just this one light source sort of glaring in from my left. I think your view might be reversed somehow. So I'm really excited about that. Excited about Starfinder. And I've got in a ton of stuff for the web store. I still kind of want to find somebody to run it, to just, you know, have someone part-time put up all those listings, but haven't heard back yet. And so just as a news item, there may be a lot of listings coming up for the web store. Now the pitch. So it's a great time to set up a project. I'm booking, I have a few slots open for April. By the way, that's pretty fast. We are booked up for March. We're like booked solid. I could squeak in an army if you need something for Adepticon. Wait, is Adepticon? Depends on when it is. Maybe I spoke too soon. So anyway, contact me, though, if you've got like a time-sensitive thing. I can probably get one more thing in under the wire. My crew is super strong right now, really good. I got people that have been on for a while. I got a great training program. I gotta tell you, it's been getting stronger and stronger and stronger. Because the company, like, it grew this way, it grew this way, it grew this way. It was growing on a certain track. And then I had to back it all the way down to like this, like the trunk of the tree, and then build it back up in a different direction. But that different direction, it's surpassed the other thing already. On so many different levels, blue table painting is so much stronger now. It's not where I want it to be, but of course, does any business owner say, hey, everything's where I want it to be? And I'm really excited. It's really good. Those numbers are about every quarter I do, you know, like a more comprehensive report. I call it the Solvency Report. That might be a misnomer. I look at a lot of different aspects, but the numbers, I'm like, these are really moving in the right direction and are getting close to where I want to be. Like really, like a month or two from, wow, I don't even, like by late spring, I'm not going to know what to do with myself, basically. That's going to be the issue. And of course, the backing up was something I think a lot of companies get, you know, they get their horns locked up because they start trying to do too many things. They, if they have success, then they, you know, so, oh, well, what else could we do? What projects could we do? And it's like, no, stop with the projects. You know, that can be great. And sometimes you need that like that's actually very much the right solution, is to figure out who you are and where you're going to go next. But don't forget your core. And that's something where right now I'm very much remembering my core. Like the formula's so simple. Just get those projects done and get them done well. And I'm going for the trifecta of good, fast, and inexpensive. And that's, we're creeping up on it. So you'd be surprised. Send me your list. Send me what you'd like to have done, and I'll put some numbers on the table, all the way from boutique painting for the discriminating client, all the way down to, listen, I just can't look at the unpainted stuff. I've got it all assembled. I just need it done, and I need it back in a reasonable amount of time. And my numbers will surprise you, because I'm coming up on, you know, Pacific Rim pricing. So guys, thanks for tuning in. I'm still here. I'm still going every day. For me, is a wonderland. Like, I go through the day and I think about the fans. I think, wow, it'd be great if I like put this all up. But then part of me is like, yeah, Sean, you just live your private life. And so these rambles are, in a way, sort of me surfacing and saying, hey, I'm still here. And things are going really well. Like blue table painting, I don't need to have a table at a convention and like beat that drum anymore. And it's a great feeling. So thanks for tuning in, and I hope you got your inspiration for the day.